I didn't know where to go when I first started camping, and I would look for hours and hours until the sun sank low, and that definitely wasn't fun. This video is going to save you the headaches and heartaches that I experienced when I first started camping, so that when you get out there and decide to camp, you can have confidence in knowing that you're going to be able to find a camp spot that meets all of your requirements.
My father gave me Montana.
So often, camping relates back to our personal lives on a level that we don't often think about. For example, before I met my now wife, Anna, I had to decide what exactly I was looking for in a girl. What was I willing to compromise on and not compromise on? In my relationship, I knew that I wanted a woman who was a Christian, serious about getting married, and not dating around. Those were my 3 uncompromisables in that relationship. Everything else about that relationship, I knew that I could handle, whether or not she was a blonde or a brunette, if she was wicked smart or just, an average mind.
My boy's wicked smart.
I could compromise on those things because I had already established my uncompromisable stack of characteristics. You have to decide what you're looking for in every campsite before you even start the process of figuring out where to go to camp. And if you do figure out these uncompromisables, then you're gonna find some pretty awesome camp spots. So what exactly are my 3 uncompromisables? Number 1, I have to have a flat spot to sleep. If I don't have a flat spot to sleep, then I know I'm gonna be tossing and turning all night long, and my sleep is going to be deprived. This makes for the really bad camping trips that you hear about. Number 2, it has to be legal. And there are certain ways to satisfy this legality rule that we'll get into later in this video. But if this is not a place where I'm allowed to camp, then I'm not gonna camp there because I don't want any run-ins with the law. Number 3, I have to be prepared for that specific spot. If I'm camping in the bottom of a valley next to water, and I know that the temperature is gonna drop 20 to 30 degrees in the middle of the night, then I have to be prepared for that temperature drop. If I don't have the correct gear and equipment for the temperature drop, I'm not going to camp there. I'm gonna find a place that satisfies my legality rule and flat rule while also being prepared for it. I encourage you to develop your own uncompromisables, and especially in relationships and camping. If you develop your uncompromisables, you'll know exactly what you're looking for every single time you go out there. And every camping trip for me starts with a map. Before I even head out into the woods, I look on Onyx or Outly to see where I am legally allowed to camp. When I pull up this map, I'm looking for places that have BLM indicators, national forest, national parks, state parks, paid versus private camping. What exactly are those places? BLM is Bureau of Land Management. Those places you can camp for roughly 16 days at. You can get out there and more or less do what you want on that land. The next place is National Forest. National Forest is a lot like BLM, except you're gonna have more park rangers out who are enforcing the National Forest rules. And with BLM and National Forest, you wanna make sure that you are checking the rules before you head out there so you know exactly what you're getting into. Then we have state parks, state land. Those are going to be dictated by your specific state. So look on your map, find that state park, state land area, and then go to your state's website, and it will describe to you what exactly the rules are. Some of them might say that you can camp there for 1 to 2 nights. Some might have no rules and you just show up and camp. You might have to pay a fee. You might not have to pay a fee. You just have to do the work before you head out there so you know exactly what you're getting into. Finally, we have paid and private camping. This is exactly what you think it is. Paid camping is when you show up to a campsite, You drop $10 in the box, you write the little lot number down on where you're staying, and you camp next to a bunch of different people. And if you're lucky, nobody else is there. This type of camping you can definitely do, especially if you're a beginner. It might be the easiest way to ease into this lifestyle of camping, but generally I don't prefer it. I'm not gonna say that it's bad, but I don't prefer it. Have I had great experiences utilizing paid camping? Yes, I have. Some of the most amazing places in Montana are paid camping. So don't be afraid of paying for camping. But in general, I don't like to do it because I don't like to be around people when I go camping. Then there's private camping. This is when you know somebody with a bunch of land that you can either pay or just go out and camp on their property. This is a great way to get into camping because you're in control of your camping experience because you know the person that you're camping on their land. Once you found the place that you would like to go camping, now you have to figure out whether or not there's access roads, places for pullouts, places to actually camp, if there's any flat areas, and if there's water nearby, if a bunch of people like to go there, and the list goes on. All of these things are going to be preferences that you have or uncompromisables, so to speak. So you do need to do some research. And I highly recommend not skipping the research step. The research step is what allows you to save the headache and angry looks from people when you get out there and decide to go camping. When you research, you become heavily prepared for finding the best camping spot. And all of this may sound way out into left field and way over the top, but I assure you it's not. A simple 5-minute researching session before you drive out 3 to 4 hours is gonna save you so much time. As a man, you have to be willing to be a researcher. You have to be willing to live and die with the decisions that you make and to make the best decisions possible given the amount of resources that you have. And I believe everybody's got the internet nowadays, unless you're living in the jungles of South America. Make your educated decisions on where you're camping and establish that within your family and the relationships that you have, that you're always going to be on top of the decisions and you'll never have to worry about your wife or your kids second guessing your decisions. What exactly should you research? Well, you might get on All Trails or government websites. You might get on Onyx. You might get on Outly. You might get on some camping apps to see what exactly people are saying about the area. You're going to find out whether or not there's fire bans. You're going to know whether or not the area is actually closed, because a lot of times the maps aren't going to tell you if the area is closed for the season. I recently tried to get out to Crystal Lake, Montana. This was last year. And they had closed the site. And I wouldn't have known that unless I had looked on the website for Crystal Lake. A lot of times those park rangers, they keep it updated because they don't want you to be disappointed. And you pay them tax dollars, so you might as well use the resources that they provide for you.